All right, so we were up here just cleaning out this python's cage, and we just thought we'd sit down for a minute. And I've got a bunch of comments. There's 52 comments on here, so we'll probably get through like 3 of them.
Probably.
What time is it right now?
2:28.
2:30, Wednesday, October 30th. So we will just get right to this. Dude had asked from the last podcast what the pickle company, the olive company I was talking about was, and it's Olive My Pickle, as in I love my pickle, but it's actually spelled, it's olivemypickle.com. They do live culture, fermented pickles and olives, and those are them. So check those guys out. We've got tons of that shit in the refrigerator. They come in a Ziploc, a big Mylar Ziploc bag, and you can just get them out. And they're big ass olives. They're really good. Andrew, I don't even know what his last name is. I love my 1.5 duty belt. It is the fucking best. Does the 2-inch duty belt, $45 plastic buckle, have a Velcro liner? It does. It has a loop Velcro liner. And the reason that is, usually when a dude's like, what's the liner for? The rule of thumb is if you have to ask what the Velcro liner's for, you don't need it. What it is all of our Velcro fold over attachments on our belts have opposing Velcro, so they lock to that, and it keeps it from sliding side to side. Because that belt, that 2-inch duty belt, is not through your belt loops. You can't just put it, one of the attachments on each side of the belt loop and keep it in place. So the Velcro. And then our other belts, you can get a Velcro liner for also as an option. And they lock the same. He said, I thought it did, but it doesn't say on the page. It doesn't say on the page because that belt goes back 30 years, and that was the original belt we ever made. And everybody making a duty belt up until from 50 years ago till now, almost every single duty belt has that Velcro liner. So it was just kind of a given. It just came with it. We probably should go back and add that. You're right. Thank you for bringing back the podcast. This shit keeps me motivated, and I will continue to comment and spread the word about SOE. Thank you. Go close that fucking door. It is closed.
Yeah, it is closed.
It's just fucking super loud. I just don't want to be up here. Like, I just feel like...
You're stuck?
No, we'll do it and see what it sounds like at the end, but I wouldn't even cut any of that out. So thank you for participating on the podcast. Definitely comment. While we're at it, if you want to support us, you like what we're doing, we have a link on our website, SOE Tactical Gear, to our Amazon store. It's just a button, takes you straight to Amazon, looks just like Amazon. Anything you buy, we get a small percentage off of. We don't know what you bought, so if you're buying, dildos and fucking dong bags and Dr. Pepper, we won't know who bought what, so there's no embarrassment of it. It just gives us a small portion, doesn't cost you anything extra. It's just a thank you. It downloads a cookie, which it's going to do anyways. Downloads a cookie, and then anything you buy in the next, they say it used to be 72 hours. I heard it's 48. It's probably the next 24. So if you just do us a favor, anytime you buy from Amazon, go to our site and go through our link there. Every 24 hours, if you're ever going to buy anything, we get a little piece of it. It just, fucking puts a little money in our account. So, what is the history of chest rigs? Could you do a show and tell of all your chest rigs in your collection and the old ones you've made? I think a lot of guys would like to see Scully's chest rig and the original Mookie War rig. So we have shown Jeff's chest rig. We don't have any chest rigs up here to show you. I have not read any of these comments. I'm reading them fresh right now. We can definitely show you Jeff's. I have no idea where the Mookie chest rig is, the Mookie War rig, the original. I'll bet you Mookie does not have it. From my understanding, the Chinese made chest rigs, then other commie countries made chest rigs. Then there were the Rhodesian chest rigs. Then we went to LBVs. SF units eventually started using chest rigs, and now they are standard issue as the Tactical Assault Panel. Also, my little brother was playing Call of Duty World at War, and the Marine Rifleman had an M1 Grand chest rig. Was that a real thing? Or do they copy the SOE M1 Grand chest rig? So I think your history is pretty much right. As far as I know, it was, the Viet Cong had them in Vietnam. Before that, I don't know. Rhodesia definitely had them. We went to The nylon woodland camo kind of slanted. It held a single mag and then 2 double mags, so it had 6 mags, and then it had a couple frags on it. And then as far as the M1 Grand Chest rig, I had never seen an M1 Grand Chest rig. There were belt pouches, so what you saw, I don't know if it was a representation of ours. I've never seen anybody else make one. That doesn't mean they're not there. They used to be just canvas pouches, and you wore them as a belt, and they were uncomfortable, and they had the old little hook with a loop, and it was like a copper belt attachment like the old LC1 Alice belt had before the plastic buckles. So yeah, we can and there's more here. I didn't expand this, so I don't know what he said, but yeah, that'll be a whole nother show in itself. We can definitely show some chest rigs and stuff. Do you still ride motorcycles on the street, or mainly into the razors now and staying off-road? If you do, what bikes do you own, ride? I've got a model 2011 Harley Davidson Fat Boy. Love getting my knuckles in the wind. I have an R6. Cody has a ZX6R. We've got some dual sport bikes, several of them. For the most part, it's razors. Like, I was just talking to some guys that came night before last night, picked up some gym equipment. And he was like, "You want to sell that bike?" And we just got talking about bikes. And I said, "Yeah, man, we really don't ride bikes much anymore because the way we run the razors, and we've had some crazy crashes and flips, like end over end 4 times, like busted the car in 2 pieces, had to use winches and come-alongs and shit to get it back in the trailer, broke wheels in 3 pieces, like the whole entire wheel assembly cracked in 3 pieces, tire off the wheel, radiator literally in 2 pieces, just, terrible shit. And like, if you'd have had an accident like that on a motorcycle, it would be a helicopter ride to a trauma center. And these things, like, we just land upside down, there's smoke, fucking razors on fire, and we just undo the seatbelt and get out, and you just hit the ground, boom, you get out, push the car back over, put whatever fire's going out if there is one, and you walk away from that shit. Cody's little brother smacked a tree in my 4-seat Razor coming downhill. It was raining, and he just pile drived into a tree, probably about a quarter mile from the building here. And I walked out there. I maybe took the 4-wheeler out there. Found him. He came in like he was just ghost white, like he thought he was in a lot of trouble. I get over there. The wheel's completely off the car. I drove the Razor back here to the shop. With 3 wheels. Like, we just fucking drove it. Boom. Got it back here. I hit a tree doing probably about 40, 50 with Josh Hohensee in the car, and totally busted the steering box and tie rod and some other shit. And that was about $500 to fix. Cody and I rolled the Razor end over end, and that was probably, it was about 10, 12 grand because we upgraded everything. Like, the shocks alone were $3,500 just in rebuilding the shocks. Rob Kostelik from FCR Suspension did them. And then we ordered up a HCR Racing suspension kit, and that's like $5 grand just in that kit. When his brother hit the tree, it actually broke the front frame assembly. So there's a front frame, rear frame to those cars. And we broke it in half. Like, I have enough broken parts to build a whole nother car with. Like, the whole frame has a whole new serial number, like the whole thing. So, but you walk away from that shit. And on a motorcycle, you do not. I'm actually very cautious. It's very much like, I used to get on a bike and just go fucking ride and jump and just didn't give a shit about it. But it's in my head now. I don't heal like I used to. We used to go out to the desert and just be out there for shit a week at a time, just riding like tanks and tanks and tanks of gas, just running through fuel. And now I'm almost 50. I get on a bike and I go to kickstart it. If I just twist wrong, like, I'm fucked up for weeks. So I just feel shit. I'm more cautious of it. And the way we run the Razors, like, we get in the Razors, like, come on, we'll just go for a trail ride. But it never is just a trail ride. Like, it is fucking balls to the wall, 100%. And you're shifting between 2 and 4-wheel drive, especially with a 4-seat car, because you come into a sharp turn, you can't do it in 4-wheel drive. You got to kick it into 2-wheel drive and just spin the ass end around. And on a bike, man, you fall over, like you even fall over on a motorcycle and just fucking blow your knee out or, you know, whatever. You got a motorcycle still?
I still have a motorcycle, yeah.
What do you have?
I got a Kawasaki, I can't remember what it says, it's a smaller one.
I had a KZ850, I think, and
That's
it was a kickstart
Yeah.
fucking motorcycle.
Yeah, no Kickstarter.
I couldn't imagine trying to kick a big ass bike like that,
Yeah.
you know. And then Cody's got a YZ250. You rode that probably a month or two ago, probably.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
But same thing. I mean, there's razors here and four wheelers, and I've been wanting to get a battery jump starter pack for my vehicle. Which brand and model would you recommend? And I actually, oh, here it is. I answered him. I said I have the Noco Genius Boost Pro GB150, and that's a big one. You don't need that. We bought that one because Pierre had said, you know, you can start a diesel truck with this
Yeah, it's
with
nice.
with no batteries in the truck. For you guys
That's
don't
impressive.
know, diesels take 2 batteries, and you can pop this thing off with this charger. And like we had a girl who just wouldn't go get a battery in her car. So like every day we had to jump start her car, and we jump started her car every day for months. And we'd go to plug that charger back in, and it would always register as full. It didn't even take anything out of the charger. And it's got an emergency light on it. You can use it as a USB charger for your cell phones and stuff.
It's got a real plug on that.
It has it works. It's a battery pack, so you can plug a 110 in it and charge your computers and laptops. It'd be a great emergency device. You don't have to get one that big. And then we've got those same Genius Boost smart chargers. We've got, I don't know, there's probably 10 or so of them here on the cars and bikes and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and that booster pack, it's got a voltmeter in it that
Yeah.
when
Low
it's
voltage reading
yeah
off of
when
what you've actually
it's
got.
plugged into the vehicle, you can see if your alternator is actually putting shit out, which is probably why your battery's dead.
Yeah.
Or you're just a big dummy and you left the lights on like I do.
Where you just have so many of
They
them,
cut
they
off
sit
after
and
so
just
long, huh?
drain.
Die.
I replace more batteries, and it's never that it's just from lack of driving the vehicles.
Yeah.
Living Free in Oklahoma City says, also to have something to talk about, what's a decent sewing machine for a hobby dude to sew some nylon? Man, that's all out there, dude. Just if you don't have the answer to that, you're not interested in really doing it. Out of all the sewing machines here, there's 50 or so sewing machines. Really, what it comes down to is they're all Consew 206s, RB3s or RB2s or whatever. But just search Consew 206. We've got them. They're badged Singer, Pfaff, Nakajima, Mitsubishi, High Lead, Seiko, Consew, Juki. We have all those brands, but the majority of them, when you really get down to it, they're all Consew 206s. All the consumable parts, all the internals. The Japanese patents are up. They're making them in Germany. They're making them in Japan. They're making them in China. That's what you want. And you're going to get a little sticker shock if you're a hobby dude, because you're going to see them. They're going to be like $1,200. Occasionally you'll find them as low as $600. But really you want a servo motor. And most places that are selling sewing machines, they're going to throw that old table away and the old clutch motor, and you're going to get a new motor stand. That's what the table's called. It's called a motor stand, and you're going to get a servo motor. So you're going to pay about $1,200, and you're going to pay a couple $100 probably to ship it. Just save the money and get the fucking good machine. Like you can get a lighter weight machine. You're going to break it. You're going to have to work on it. Your parts are going to wear out faster. If you can save $600, save $1,200 and just get the Consew. You can get them on eBay. I would search Craigslist for commercial or industrial sewing machine, and what you're looking for is a compound walking foot or a needle feed walking foot. And that's what we use. We've got machines even bigger than that. You're going to pay $5,000 to $7,000 for the bigger machines. And learning how to use them, it's not going to do anything for you that the others won't do. It'll probably just get you in even more trouble. Glad to see you're back. Between you guys and Jack Spirko telling people to get shit done, I've started a side hustle doing machining and gunsmithing, and I'm turning into a full-time gig. Your hard work and attitude inspires me. Keep it up. That's really what it is, man. Like, everybody has something. I was listening to a podcast today, one of the super old MFCEO podcasts, and he was talking about, people saying, what do I do as a hobby? Everybody has something, and if you don't, then you're just not meant to fucking be an entrepreneur or have any kind of business. And he's like, you could take somebody that's interested in butterflies. Well, how do you monetize that? You just have to have a fucking passion about it, put a website up, talk about butterflies, take photos of butterflies, show butterfly stuff. And once you have traffic, I mean, that's anything, 1,000 true fans. If you got 1,000 true fans that'll give you $5 a month, that's $5,000. That's more than a lot of people are making it a job. So if you can bring in an additional $5,000 and hold out and keep your job that's paying whatever it's paying, but it's obviously paying your bills, as you build that up, you can monetize that website to where people just appreciate your content enough that they'll give you $2 to $5 a month or whatever. You could do that through Patreon, but just do some shirts that have a fucking butterfly. He's like, I would hang a banner in my garage that just has 2 butterflies printed on it. So every time I go in the garage, I see 2 butterflies, and then start selling mounted fucking butterflies and framed butterflies. Like I just added that because Amanda likes butterflies. So we buy these fucking butterflies, and just like anything else, everything, you guys don't realize you have this perception, I do too, that's just not reality. We go to these oddity shows and everybody's like, dudes are selling these butterflies and they get fucking 60, 70, 80 bucks, $120 for this big fucking butterfly or a moth. You can buy those wholesale. They will fucking come to you in a fucking bag of dead butterflies, and you just fucking take them out and you put them in a $5 frame and you mat them, put a matting on there, and take some gold Sharpie and draw some shit, the all-seeing eye or some squiggly Victorian type shit, and boom, you just took, $10 of content, maybe $15 of materials, and you're marketing them for $120. I know, because I fucking bought them, and I'm not even a fucking butterfly guy. I just added all that in, but that was Andy's example. So whatever it is you like, that obviously has nothing to do with this dude's doing, but that's just the point. Like, all you have to do is just fucking do it. And when you're not sure what to do, do something. And at least you'll find out, because the fucking 10 dudes standing next to you doing nothing, they're definitely not going to fucking get ahead. At least you tried. Like, you're going to learn by failure. You're going to learn by success. And like I like to say, there's 60 ticks on the fucking clock or on a watch. You might start at the 12 o'clock, and a couple miles up the road, it just clicks 1 second. When you get 15, 20 miles up that road, that 1 second deviation, you can't even see each other. It could become something completely different, but it started as the same thing. So just always do something. One of my lotto plans is to pay to work at SOE. Daniel Marshall. Man, people don't like working at SOE. I'm pretty fast I hire fast and fire fast. And usually I don't even get a chance to fire you. Like, if you're a shitty employee, I love going, hey, fucking, you can just go. But I usually don't, it never gets to that point. Like, we're not mean to them. I'm definitely not a fucking asshole. When I hire a dude, I'm like, look, I'm never going to ask you to do something I can't demonstrate. I'm never going to ask you to do something that I can't fucking do myself and show by example. But I expect you to get better. Like, what you do today on your first day, you have to do better the next day. And a week from now, I expect you to do the same thing, but faster and more precise. And they're like, that's awesome. I've never had a boss tell me that. I'm like, we're going to feed you. It's fucking cool in here when it's hot outside. It's not a bad place to work. Like, you hear sweatshop. There's not a motherfucker in here sweating because we have a ton of air conditioning. And we have twice the light. Like, there are fucking factories here that are sweatshops. And when you walk in, it is dark and dingy and smells like mold. And there's fucking rain dropping on the ground through the ceiling. Like, that's the typical sew shop. Like, we have 3 times the lighting, twice the air conditioning. We give you a fucking iPod. We give you earbuds. You can listen to music. Like, I bought every employee we had iPods. But typically, dudes don't, like, I believe that if you have somebody next to you that's not performing, that they are contagious. If they're not fucking operating at 90%, 100%, those dudes are contagious. They're going to contaminate. It's like fucking having a cancer. Cancer cells, you always hear when they cut cancer out, we got all of it so it won't spread. You leave that little fucking seed in there and it fucking spreads. And a bad person within a business is like that. If you put a shitty dude in a room with 3 other dudes, they're either going to pick him up or he's going to drag them down. That's not you, Daniel. I mean, I've fucking read a lot of your comments and stuff, and obviously you work, so. John or Chef, what are your recommendations on places to eat around downtown Nashville? I'll be in Nashville in February for a conference, and I would like to get some good food.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple. Germantown and Nashville's like really hot and trendy right now. They got some cool restaurants down there. Man, I hate to say their name because I think I'm gonna fucking say it wrong. But I don't know, man. Any of those restaurants downtown, DeSanto Pizza, which is good. Brandel's shaking his head because he hates that place.
Why?
Tell the truth, Brandel. Tell the truth. He shot video for somebody else.
Oh, he shot video for a
So
competitor.
now he's loyal.
Oh.
He bought into the game.
Well, they should have paid him.
That's what I'm saying.
They probably hit him up and gave him a
Yep.
price. They're like, we're not paying that. Okay.
I don't know. Where do you like to eat?
I hate downtown. I hate fucking crowds and traffic, and I hate like fucking
That's what you're
when
gonna
the
deal
when
with.
the stoplight turns and there's fucking 100 people. Like you won't see me in a crowd. If something bad happened, you're trapped there. I eat in Brentwood at Nama Sushi or Ludlow and Prime right there in Brentwood. Anything down on M Street in the Gulch. I think it's M Street. The Gulch,
The Gulch,
Virago,
Virago, for
Sambuca,
sure.
Whiskey Kitchen, Cane Prime. Any of those, you can't go wrong with any of those restaurants down there. They're all amazing. Silo is really
Saint
good.
Anejo, right?
Saint Anejo, that's one of their restaurants down there.
Yeah, those are good.
The Rainbow Skull and Rainbow Room, the Skull and Rainbow Room. That place is. I have not been there. It's fucking supposed to be awesome. But mostly like I eat sushi and stuff. Like when I find a place that I like, I go there a lot. I'll try new places, but if I walk into a place and they're like, "It's a 30-minute wait, sir," I'm like, "We're not waiting," because I have so many
Tell them what
places.
you really do, John.
What do I do?
John pulls out a huge stack of cash, and he's like, "How much now?
I do
How
not
long's
do
the
that.
wait now?"
I do not do that. In Vegas, I'll do that.
I've seen it a couple
I'm like,
times, but not
the
here.
parking lot's full, sir. How much for the parking lot not to be full? And I'll give him 100, and everybody's like, "You could have given," and the dude will be like, "Hey, you can just give us 20 next time, and we'll open the fucking parking lot." No, I don't usually. Like, I'll definitely make and then another trick too, if you call the restaurant and you're like, "Hey, can I get in at 8 o'clock?" and they tell you no, get on their app. Because a lot of the apps don't merge. So they will have seats set aside for like Open Table. They'll have seats set aside for whatever app they're using on their Facebook. And then if those are full, call them. Because the restaurant will have seats allocated. Each app will have seats allocated. And for some reason, they haven't merged. They're using a lot of different apps in each restaurant at the same time. So you can generally get in even when they tell you you can't. And then there's also the option of sitting at like a high top in the bar at a lot of those places, or on the patio too. And a lot of these places have, nice enclosed patios with heaters and shit. So there's usually an option if you don't take no for an answer. And but I mean, coming from what do you think? I mean, coming from working in the restaurant industry and stuff, is that how it is in Vegas?
Yeah, money talks, bullshit walks, man.
So they typically will for
Fuck yeah.
how much?
I mean,
how much to get me a seat?
you never see a VIP come in and want to eat, and they're like, "Oh, we're too full." Like, you never fucking see that. They'll go up to somebody and be like, "Your meal's done," and kick them the fuck out of there.
A lot of guys don't know. Like, there's a whole VIP valet and back entrances to all of the malls and restaurants in Las Vegas, at least. There's private lounges in all those places. There's a whole nother driveway, and they'll open the mall early. They'll close the mall early.
Yeah.
But there's a whole
Yeah.
like you can get into those places and not even have to go through the mall to get to most of those places in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, Kim Kardashian's not like trotting through the whole fucking
Right.
mall to go to some
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
back entrance.
AK and Glock guy says, "John, have you ever done intermittent fasting?" No, I like to eat. Sometimes I sleep in and I end up not eating for 16 hours. So I guess that puts me in a fasting window.
You did it.
12 hours. I've never fasted for like 20 hours or 24 hours. Like, even if I was going to have surgery and they're like, "You can't eat for 24 hours," like, I might just die from fucking vomiting because I'm fucking eating. I have not. I used it to drop 30 pounds along with doing dirty keto as well as working out like a maniac. So, dirty keto. I used to say that same stupid shit. Obviously, whatever you did worked for you, and you're doing that. But when Chef got here, I would say 90% of everything I ate was probably keto.
Yep.
And I was fat. because I was still eating carbs. What's the ketosis window? It's different for different people, but typically it's 20 carbs or 40 carbs. You hear different shit. You can consume 20 carbs a day, and if you're in ketosis, and then you burn and your body operates off fat. Well, if let's say you're eating 40 carbs a day and you're not in ketosis and you're taking in a ton of fat and protein, that shit your body stores that shit as fat. If you're eating carbs and eating a keto diet and taking carbs in, you fucking get fat. You might lose some weight in the beginning because you're eating better than you were. You've cut out sugar and soda and shit. But if you're still taking carbs in, doing dirt, because that's what I said, I'm doing dirty. I never really said it, but I was like, most of my meals are keto, but some of them aren't. Realistically, I've probably never been in ketosis. I lost, 2 pant sizes doing that shit, and I was losing size because I wasn't eating like white bread and fucking tortillas. And you think to yourself, well, I can eat pretzels. I can eat tortillas. Those are better. They're not. They're fucking very, very marginally better. So just watch that shit. And that's not towards you, AK and Glock guy. Obviously, you know what worked for you. Do you think the if hurts potential gains by not supplying the body what it needs after a workout, the IF,
intermittent
fasting? I don't know, man. There's a lot of dudes that do it.
Joe Rogan does it every freaking day, and he looks like a monster, and he's 52. So
I think Joe Rogan has access to a lot of fucking chemicals and
that too,
and supplementation that we don't.
Mm-hmm. I mean, dude's getting stem cells like it's his job.
Yeah. So and that's just what we're talking about, right? That's just what he's telling you. So imagine what you're not being told.
Yeah.
And fucking more power to him. If I had the money and the access, I'd be fucking taking everything there was. Oh, experimental? Yeah. Fucking let's try it. Let's see what fucking happens. I
vaguely remember some study about like runners and fasting, and like it didn't affect their ability, but don't quote me on that.
I don't think you can gain a ton of size. Well, what do you think? You just did what? What did you do? A 48-hour fast?
Yeah, I'd do 24 hours a day. So I'd eat one time a day.
You would fast for 24 hours and then eat. So every time you ate each day, change the time. Yeah. And I watched Brandel. I'm like, how the fuck are you going to eat that? Like Brandel ate. Yeah. At one sitting, not a window of an hour or anything. He had like 45 minutes to eat, and he had so much food. He ate more food standing there while I was just eating lunch than I ate all in fucking 48 hours probably. And I call myself eating quite a bit. I think there's a lot of ways to get to the same place. You just have to find the one that you're willing to do. I think a lot of shit works. And a lot of people, like we were talking today about, dudes like, overtraining in the gym. Most of us, we know some people that are fucking elite athletes like that are overtraining. For the most part, you're not training fucking 50%, much less 100%. So you're never even touching 101 to 105% to even be overtraining. Work out, fucking sweat, operate at a level that you fucking can barely hold a conversation, and fucking lose fat. You want to gain muscle? I think that you have to eat. There's not a lot of fucking. I know Rob Bailey will tell you that he's a vegan. I don't know that I could be fucking huge and eat just all vegetables. I don't know. I use their vegetable protein, and I run really well on it. I feel fucking clean on it. So I don't know, man. Do you think the intermittent fasting hurts the body needs after workout? Sometimes I work out in the mornings and it just doesn't feel right not eating. I'm trying to get some pythons like what you have, not the ones in the cages. Just do what fucking works for you, man. A lot of it's mental. When you get up in the morning, if you feel like you need to eat, fucking eat. But if you eat, can you go straight from eating to working out, or do you need to wait 30 minutes? Like, what's your deal? And you'll look at a lot of times too, guys will just tell you what they're eating, but they're not telling you how they're eating it. Like eating carbs right after a workout to spike your insulin and glucose level so that your body will just suck protein in. Do you need to eat those carbs and then wait 5 minutes, or do you eat the carbs with the protein, or does it even matter if you eat the protein first and then put the carbs in your stomach? Does it work the same? I don't fucking know the answer to that. I don't know. I have an awesome diet plan, and I have fucking 7 meals I'm supposed to eat a day, and we weighing it out, and I guess that's really the macros of it, because it's 7 ounces of fish protein or chicken, and 3 ounces of vegetables, and 3 ounces of rice. And I'm, for the most part, doing that, and the fucking fat is coming off, and the fucking pant size has come down. I'm wearing a 30-inch belt. I'm wearing 32-inch shorts. I could probably squeeze into 30s. But my weight is still at like 195. So, I mean, I'm obviously losing fat, and my weight is actually a little bit higher. So there's some muscle density. But I'm sure that I could perform. I'm sure I could work those and the timings of that and get even, more out of it. I don't know the answers to all of it. I'm sure, I'm not the dude to ask. I can just tell you what I did and, what works for me. But I think that all 4 people sitting in this room here would all have, if they did what I did, it would probably work differently for them. What bikes are those? Mountain bikes. You have a Cannondale Scalpel.
Cannondale.
I have a Specialized Enduro Expert, and I bought Amanda a Specialized at the same time. I don't know what hers is. It's a female-specific bike. Talking about people wanting to spend weekends off with their kids. Working swing shift when it comes around that I'm off on the weekend. I like to spend it with my kids. But when I'm scheduled weekends, I try to take all my overtime through the week so I can be off on the weekends with them. That being said, this is my first weekend off in 4 weeks, but I'm pulling 13 hours of double time Saturday night, get my kids Halloween night, Friday night, couple hours of sleep Sunday morning, and pick them up at 12 for the night. Taking them to school Monday morning before going back to work Monday night. Got to find the balance, which worked out this weekend. Cool. I don't see a question in there. The security sockets can be bought anywhere. Your tire wheels.
Yeah. Okay.
So
No links though.
So yes, they can be bought anywhere. Whether they actually fit or not is a completely different story.
I bought 2 already and they didn't fucking fit, man.
I went to 3 different parts stores that day looking for
that specific one.
Oh,
one.
for his?
And while they have the same shape, they never fit the same.
Because every brand's a little bit different.
Because they're all made by,
China.
Every bit of it's different.
The security sockets can be bought anywhere. People that boost wheels will spend the money on sockets because it can be used multiple times it can be used on multiple sets. Hammering on an impact socket works, but it takes time. I've used 2 different sets of security lugs before. You'll never stop a determined criminal, but just make it more difficult. John, the thing with carbs on keto is fiber cancels out carbs. High fiber carbs are good for keto. Yeah, 100% fiber is carbs, but that's not what we're talking about, because that's fiber, and you subtract that, and the other carbs fucking count as sugar. Yes, of course they do. I think that everybody knows that. That's not what we're talking about. Dr. Berg on YouTube for all your keto questions. Yes, or you could listen to Jack Spirko as of late. He's fucking really on fire with that shit and has dropped fucking 40 pounds almost right now.
That was more than that.
Yeah, fucking like a small child. And then Dr. Barry. Lies your doctor told you. Dr. Barry's on all the keto cruises. He's a guest speaker fucking everywhere. That's my personal doctor, has been for a decade now. That's Jaeger's doctor. Like, that dude was here in town here. Like, this is where he came from. Thanks for the video, John. I look forward to these videos. I'm going to start growing my multicam Tropic collection. Right on, man. So a farmer is broke. How does he make more money without spending money? He takes a 4-foot piece of 3/4 inch PVC and drops seeds down it. He eliminates bending over and saves time. Look around. The tools for success are laying in front of you. Sometimes we are looking for something complicated when it's really simple. Just a thought inspired by my grandfather. All right, Stephen.
Did you make money with that though?
No, and there's not a farmer out there doing that. There's a hobby farmer or a small scale farming, like or homesteader,
Yeah.
but nowadays it's go big, go home.
Yeah, that's right. Major farming is so much money. Like my
Yeah, it's all leveraged.
My extended the amount of money they have in equipment is mind-boggling.
It's insane.
Mind-boggling.
And they never pay it off. It's
Never.
always traded in. I want to know where all the Kubota, because Kubota has 0% interest. They're giving fucking tractors out left and right. Where the fuck are all those used Kubotas going? Because the
The
Kubota
repo
dealer doesn't
ones,
have a
yeah.
fucking one of them.
Yeah.
You can't go to a Kubota dealer and buy last year's fucking. It's just not there. Where are they at? It's like they just smash them or bury them so they fucking build new ones. I don't know. I don't
Paint
know.
them green,
Repaint
call them a
them,
John
uh,
Deere. I don't know what,
I don't
they
know
do
what
with
happens
them,
to
man.
them. Any tips, tricks on how to avoid eating stuff you shouldn't? No, I eat it. Like I ate a 5-pound cake last week. Just don't have it. Eat a little bit of it. Fucking throw it away.
Don't keep it
Don't
around.
have it.
Yeah.
If you're really committed to it, like if you really get like a craving and you need some ice cream or something, make it so you actually have to get up, get dressed, go fucking eat it. Don't bring that shit home.
Yeah,
Eat it at the store. Go to a destination. Go to Baskin Robbins and sit there at 31 Flavors and eat that shit. Go to a restaurant and order it if you're going to eat it. If you don't have it at home, you won't fucking snack on it. Because I'll sit down, like for a long time, I was eating a pint of Ben & Jerry's every fucking night. Every single night. And I'm like, I'm only going to eat half of this. I'm like, man, this shit's really good. And before you know it, you've eaten a whole fucking pint of ice cream. So if you don't have it, if you really, really have to have it, go eat that shit and get it over with. Don't bring it home. If you bring it home, you're going to fucking eat a lot more of it. Like the donut thing. I've been pretty good with the donut. Like we have set out to go get donuts. We've gone to donut stores and I'm like, let's go get donuts. And Amanda's like, okay, so we'll go get donuts. And we'll be like halfway there. I'm like, I don't need a fucking donut. She's like, I thought you wanted a donut. I'm like, I don't need a fucking donut. And we just like don't go. We go and get a steak or something instead. Like there's been probably a dozen times in the last month where I'm like, I want a fucking donut. Let's go get a donut. And we don't. Josh brought some donuts in here and I ate part of one of them and then Brandel ate all the rest of them.
All of them.
All of them.
All 26.
You ate one?
One box.
I kept waiting for you to be like, what the fuck happened to these donuts?
That was good.
Did you bake these in a solar oven for 25 days? Like these are dehydrated. Like the crustiest old dried out
My
bread.
apologies.
I'm like, where did you fucking get these from? Are these like toy donuts?
Mexico.
I don't know, man. Like the donut thing, my biggest issue is chewy candy. Starbucks, gummies, Haribo gummies, things like that. Working in a grocery store makes it a little more difficult. I know I need to just be more disciplined, but any help is much appreciated. Love the podcast, SOE. Anytime you want to eat bullshit like that, because I love shit like that. I used to leave, when I'd leave the other shop, I had a buddy, Marcus Allen, lives where the gummy worm king of the world lives. I don't know what that fucking company is. He would bring me chocolate covered gummy bears. He'd bring me gummy army men, gummy worms,
They're really good.
gummy bears, green apple, and just vanilla gummy bears. Like just he brought me literally like 20 pounds of them every Christmas. So I would just take I'd take a handful and put it in my coat when I was leaving the shop because it was freezing cold. I had my big puffy coat and I'd eat them on the way home and I'd be out of gummy bears. But I would eat a handful of gummy bears. They were so fucking good. You just have to not have them. So if you're going to have that shit, eat a salad first. You really want the gummy bears? Okay, you can have the gummy bear. You can have a couple gummy bears, whatever. Eat a fucking salad first. Drink a cup of water. Eat a fucking bowl of salad. You can even have meat on your salad and a little bit of dressing or whatever. And then if you still want those fucking gummy bears, eat a couple gummy bears. You'll eat a lot less that way. Put volume in your stomach. You're not eating because you're hungry. And when you start eating smaller portions, like there's something in your stomach that stretches out and tells you that you're full. That will shrink down when you stop keeping the volume in your stomach full. It's like shit changes. But I hear that a lot. Like just drink water first before a meal. Eat a salad. Like you're actually supposed to eat the salad after the meal because the roughage cleans your system out and pushes all the rest of the stuff through you. We do things very different in the United States than everywhere else does. And I don't know the answer to that. I mean, my if I have it around, I eat it typically. Like there's a pack of Oreos that's been here for months probably. And whenever I really I know they're there and it's eating at me and I'll go get one, a lot of times that package is empty because somebody else has already ate them and just left the package. But the other night I'm like, man, I'm gonna go get these fucking Oreos. I'm gonna have me 3 Oreos and a cup of milk. Well, we didn't have any milk. I'm like, shit, I'm gonna have to use ice cream. So I had the portion of ice cream wrong. I had too much ice cream. So I had to add more Oreos. So I had like a dozen Oreos and a bowl of ice cream. And then it just puts me comatose. Like, I'm fucking useless after that. I might as well lay down and go to sleep because I'm done. I literally am dumber the next day when I have carbs like that. Last night, yesterday, I'm like, what are we going to eat? And we had fucking steak in the refrigerator, and I had fish in the refrigerator. I had tons of options in the refrigerator. But the gas station next door makes sushi. Well, they weren't making sushi yesterday. I'm like, I just wanted to get out of here for a few minutes. So Amanda and I went next door, and I got a grilled cheese sandwich. I got a pulled pork sandwich, and I got a Reuben. And I ate all those, and then I was fucking useless. Like, I literally just couldn't focus, couldn't get shit done. When I woke up this morning, I'm just not on. Like, it takes a couple of days for that shit literally to get out of my system. When I don't eat shit food, I just operate better. Maybe it's placebo effect.Maybe it's just fucking, I believe it so it is. I don't know. But when I eat shitty food, I feel hot afterwards, and I just feel useless. So just don't do it, I guess, man. If you ever get to the point where that shit's not in your system, you'll see what I'm talking about. I guess the biggest thing is just don't keep it near you.
Yeah, don't have it around.
Another great video. I was surprised to hear you read my comment. Laugh out loud kind of made my day. The project I was talking about that I got to work on was adding a little addition to my storage shed at home. Right on, man. SEA. Right on. And actually, that was my reply to him. Right on, man.
Purity.
End of the longest line. The DEF filter is where they hide the unobtainium. Isn't that where the piss goes?
I have no idea what that is.
I don't know what he's talking about. The catalytic converter stuff.
Oh, fuck. I know, man.
6 hours a day, Ed Hubble. 6 hours a day, holy shit. That's barely a warm-up. On the other hand, there is almost no way I could ever spend 6 consecutive hours inside a Walmart.
True.
Unless you got locked in the bathroom.
Or you're in the tunnel underground.
The tunnels.
Yep.
That's right. The lizard people. I did not know you guys were in Tennessee. Glad to know it's my home state. I'll be moving back there in November. Well, Jeff Campbell, surprise, motherfucker. We've been in Tennessee like 13 years now.
We're claiming it as our own. So
I'm
get the fuck out.
practically a resident. Where are you now? What part of Tennessee will you be coming home to? We are in Camden, to which he did not reply. DJ Richard says, gotta have Diet Pepsi for Jeff. Do you think that the younger generations have quit creating products and instead are content with what's already out there?
If I couldn't see that, I could have told you who fucking asked that question.
What's the answer?
I'm still hung up on who's asking the question.
Well, Reed, are you content with you are the younger generation.
It's not all of us.
Are you content with what's out there, or are you creating? What are you creating or making better right now? Ed Hubble says, I've seen a lot of tweaking on established designs from youth rather than original ideas coming to the table. Really, though, what are the original ideas? Like, I'm not working on, I mean, we have material, we make a bag. There's only so many ways to make a bag. A new piece of hardware or fastener comes out, so we use that and put that on our bag. I mean, we've got some shit that's original, but I mean, how much really can you do with nylon and a sewing machine? I mean, I just speak of that because that's what I'm doing. Computers and shit, that's a whole nother animal. I see what you're saying though, Ed. DJ Richard, thanks for the shout out, John. My son is my world. I've always worked hard, but now I work even harder just so I can give my son an awesome life. Failing him is my fear. Thank you always for the motivation. It truly helps. We're talking about he has the fucking cutest kid in the world.
His kid is adorable.
Every time I see the picture, I'll show him, I'm like, holy shit. And then she does the same thing. She's like, do you see that picture DJ Richard put up? The kid has so many faces too. Like, he's such a little ham. Like he's like a little actor already.
Yep.
I probably made 20 orders and I screwed one up about a year ago. John kicked it over to Amanda and it was taken care of. Never got to tell you thanks. Right on, man. So we just did this promotion. It's not really a promotion. We have some analytics on our email program. We use, I don't know what we're currently using. We basically had MailChimp. MailChimp did not come up to comply with some of the regulations, so they no longer merge with Shopify. So we have a patch basically, and we can go through and look at the analytics that show frequently opens, not likely to opens, and I think it's never opens or something. So I'm like, hey, we need to cut these never opens off of here because it changes the algorithms for the email servers like Google, Hotmail, Yahoo, Outlook. They all have these algorithms. If you can get like from, I think it's 9 to 11% open rate, it tricks it and puts it all into the inbox instead of the junk mail. And apparently that's a big deal because people don't look at their junk mail. I do. I look at every one because without fail, I get hundreds of them a day, but there's always a dozen real ones in there. And I check my email every hour or so. Every time I go to piss, I check my email. Every time I go to get a drink, I check my email. So it only takes me, I'm only at the computer, maybe a minute, 2 minutes at most, just answering whoever needs answered, deleting the fucking bullshit, and then going through junk mail. It doesn't take long. But if you can trick that algorithm, you have a higher open rate. We had 40,000 people on our email. It was 35,000 the first time we did it on our email list. And we killed, I think it was like 17,000 people. We just dumped them all. We sent them a $10 gift coupon or gift code or something. And about 100 people opened that. So that changed them from the never likely to open to likely to open or whatever. And then we dumped like 17,000 people. We just cut them off our email list. When our sales were immensely higher the next week on we didn't run a sale or anything, just our sales volume was higher because more people apparently saw that email and opened it and took action on whatever it was we emailed them. So this week we kind of did the same thing, except it was, I think she said it was 25,000 people, and we sent them all a $20 gift card. And it was off of the not likely to open. But something didn't work like we thought it was going to work because we had people going, hey, thanks, man, that's so fucking awesome. And these were people that I recognize that are frequent customers. So while we ended up sending $20 to a lot of our customers, which was not planned on, the sales fucking were huge. And there was only a few assholes that used, like we sent them a $20, here's $20 for you. There was a couple dudes that bought two $20 patches, and that's all they bought. Yeah. So there was no profit from that. But for the most part, all those orders were over $100. A lot of them were like $400, $500, $600.
That's good.
Off of a $20 thing. So I don't know why I was on that. Oh, about his order. So a lot of these dudes, we had a promotion going at the same time, which was the Halloween promotion, Spooktacular or something. And you got to choose a witch cock. We have these purple Halloween cocks that have a witch's hat on them and a little broomstick, a little flying broom like a witch has. Or you could choose to get one of our bags, our bag tubes that holds plastic bags. It's a little drawstring thing. Pretty cool, a lot of uses. We did a video on it. It's out there, you can see it. It's on our YouTube. We had hundreds of people use that code. And then a dude would be like, oh, I forgot to tell you which free item I wanted. So I'd hit reply and tag Amanda and go, hey Amanda, can you please look through all 700 orders by hand that you've already printed out and find this guy's order so that you can send him the free thing that he forgot to put in there. And I was kind of being like snide with it. Yeah. And like, man, I'm sorry. But most dudes were like, man, I'm sorry. I'll immediately place another $100 order with you. Like, it's not a huge deal. What I want to say is, oh, I'm sorry you fucked your order up. The other 799 people, they were able to do it. But that's kind of the thing. So typically when you fuck your order up, I just cancel and refund your order. Because, for instance, like if you ordered Sunday night, or let's say you ordered Saturday, right? We have run a promotion Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Well, Friday night we print all the orders. Saturday morning she prints all the orders. Saturday night she prints all the orders. you tell us, hey, I ordered on Saturday, and you tell me Sunday night that you have messed your order up, we physically have to go find that fucking order. Out of all those fucking stacks of orders, we have to find yours and write on there what you want, because it doesn't change automatically in the system when we put it on there once that piece is printed out. So the fastest way to make that work is I cancel and refund your order. So they're still going to pull that order, but when it goes to shipping, when we go to print the label, it shows that that order was canceled and it doesn't let it print. And at which time we take the box, put it back on the shelf, and take the contents and put them back on the shelf in inventory. It's already accounted for in inventory when we cancel the order. So we tell you, hey man, we just canceled and refunded the order. Just place a new corrected order. And what this guy's talking about, he's replying to what I'd said on the other podcast. We don't do that to be an asshole. We do that because that's the least cumbersome. A lot of times, by the time Amanda gets around to finding that thing Monday morning, me or Jeff or somebody has already pulled that shit, and somebody's already shipped that fucking order. So now we have an order that we have to go not only find your slip, and then when we can't find it, we got to look through all these and then find the box and take the box apart and then get a refund on the $10 shipping or whatever. So the fastest way to handle it is just to cancel and refund it. And every now and then a dude's like, well, I'm not going to be able to order till the funds come back through PayPal. When are you going to send me my money back? Like, they literally say that. The money comes out of our account the second we cancel and refund your order. The internet, it's in limbo, and your bank most likely hasn't processed it. Because if you paid, when I go into my account, it shows a negative. It shows a debit out of there. And that's the deal, man. That's what the deal is. In for say it and I'll come patch.
What did I really say though?
I thought you said we'll come.
No,
You said say it and I'll come.
I didn't say that one bit.
What did he say?
I don't know.
Rewind the tape.
I probably made 20 orders and I screwed one up about a year ago. That's the same dude. Jeff Zarge, what is Chef's favorite thing to cook? Either for anyone at SOS or elsewhere.
Well, I've never worked at SOS. They sound like good people, though.
How about a specialty operations
I
equipment?
work there every freaking day. My favorite thing to cook? I don't know, man. I always say, like, as just a no thought answer, like, I think I cook chicken like the best. I think I have the most recipes for like chicken, only because like in
Because homeless people will
homeless
riot.
people buy it. Yeah, not only from a business standpoint, it's cheap and you can make shitloads of money off of it.
Thus, it's food for homeless.
Yeah, cheap. I don't know. I think the steaks are cool. That all the steaks I do, just because they run through the immersion circulator, and that's just not very
What
common.
about your tomato basil soup?
Well, you keep me up here, I can't make it. What do you think of that? You want me to go make it?
What do you make it out of?
Oh, so I tell him John, because John was bugging me about a grilled cheese sandwich.
I want a grilled cheese sandwich. Because his grilled cheese sandwich is so good.
I don't even know. It's,
never had
it's bread and butter.
No.
And
He
cheese.
melts butter first, and then he soaks the bread in the butter as though you're bathing it to make French toast. And then he throws it on a hot griddle, and it gets crispy on one side, and then he crisps the other side, and then he puts some cheese in there, and then he torches it. It's like a 12-step grilled cheese process, and he has this torch with a catalytic converter, and he goes, and he gives it. It's like on fire, and then he goes, and he blows it out,
Spit on it.
and
too. Don't
it's
forget
like
spit on it.
steaming and smoking. And he's like, "Do you want tomato soup with your grilled cheese sandwich?" I go, "Do you have tomato soup?" He goes, "I think we ate it." I go, "Well, then I don't need tomato soup." He goes, "I can make it." I go, "Why don't you just take some of this bone broth and dump some ketchup in there, and everybody will just think it's tomato soup." He goes, "I can do better than that." So what were you gonna do?
So I was telling them how we worked at a restaurant. I worked at a restaurant, this Italian place. They made huge vats of red sauce, like 50, 60 gallons at a time. And one of the things they would do all the time when they would run out of normal soup of the day is they'd take their red sauce and just add some cream to it, like their normal red sauce they put on the chicken parm and the spaghetti and all that shit. And they would just add cream to it and add like a little chiffonade basil, and they'd call it like tomato basil cream soup.
What is chiffonado basil?
Chiffonade is a French word that means ribbon. So you're cutting it very thin. Cheffenade.
That's exactly what I deducted from
if
that.
anyone wants to impress John, just take the simplest task and add 30 more steps to it, and John will be super impressed. Tying your shoes, just add 30 steps in there, and John will be like, "That's fucking awesome."
Yeah, do
Just so
that.
you know.
Yeah, complicate. Take longer to do a task than needs to be taken.
Loves it.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Have you ever seen me physically throw a person out the door?
No.
You were right. EE is an error code. The scale only goes to 450 pounds. we had a girl
Been there.
who worked for us. She was a great big car person. She wanted to lose weight, and I'm like, yes, I will pay for you to go to the gym, and I will give you $100 for every 10 pounds you lose. She goes, okay. I go, what do you weigh? She goes, I don't know. I'm like, okay, step on this scale. And it went, ah! So we take her to the doctor's office. I call Dr. Barry's office. I'm like, I have a girl and her daughter. They both work here, and they are too heavy to weigh on our scale. Can we send them in and have you weigh on your scale? So she calls me back, and she's like, your employees are here. Our scale will not weigh them. I go, what does your scale go up to? And she goes, 450 pounds. I'm like, okay, what's our next option? She goes, you got to take them to the co-op and weigh them at the co-op.
On a grain scale.
Yep.
So
Or a vet.
I don't think she's like a horse scale would do it, like bovine scale. So we never knew what they weighed, but she was definitely over 450 pounds. So
Just 451.
she went to the gym for a little while. I did not have a means to, when she said she lost 10 pounds, I gave her a $100 bill. But it was short-lived. It went for a couple of weeks, and that was as far as they got. So, the website is, my side project is an active shooter lock for classroom office doors. The website is terrorstoplock.com. That's cool. November, that's what, and Spirit Coast says the same thing. Your website should say what you do. SOE Tactical Gear, SOEBelts.com, terrorstoplock.com. That's a good one. November 30 will be 1 year since I came up with the lock. I handmade the first 10 or so locks and destroyed them in testing. I have my patent pending number, and I ordered 100 of them about 2 weeks ago. I should have them ready to go in 3 weeks. That's fucking cool, Jeff Talent.
Idea, man.
Good on you. Dave Duvall, you mentioned fish sticks. That's the prime, man.
That's where we're going.
That's good. I like fish sticks, but you know what I like better than fish sticks? I like the fish. It's not really a stick, and it's not
Like kind of the patties?
Yeah, they're not round either. They're like an oblong
Filet.
fish, maybe a fillet. They're skinny here, but fat here, but they're all the same width. But I like the beer battered ones, and they have to be crispy. You got to do them for 45 minutes on one side and then 10 minutes on the other
Yeah.
side.
Ignore the directions.
And you have to use tartar sauce, not that tartar bullshit. It has to be tartar sauce.
Tartar.
And I like it with a little vinegar also, malted
Malted.
vinegar.
Because you're English.
I can go to a shitty restaurant and get their fish sticks, and they're usually pretty good. Amanda likes to go to Red Robin.
Yep.
And if I eat a hamburger, it looks good, the picture's good. But if I eat a hamburger at Red Robin, I feel like a useless piece of shit afterwards. Like, I feel fucking ill. But I can eat that fish sticks with tartar sauce.
Tartar.
It's actually fish and chips.
Tartar.
You mentioned fish sticks. One of the other chefs brought in a box of fish sticks. He deep fried them and handed them out. I grabbed the box and glanced at it. The expiration date, I glanced at the expiration date as I'm munching on one. It is 5 years past the expiration date.
Good to go,
Oh,
homie.
shit.
I go, what the fuck? Are you trying to... Wait a minute. You moved 2 years ago. Did you move expired fish sticks from your old house? He responds all sheepishly, yeah, I guess I did.
It's fucking gross,
I
man.
don't have a problem with it. If you freeze anything
it's
cold enough,
frozen.
it kills everything.
False.
It's not false. It's science.
100%. Okay. It's true, I mean.
That's right. And if you heat it hot enough, you could. If you had a squirrel that had the plague,
Yeah.
how hot do we have to cook it to kill the plague?
The thing with food is all the craziest shit that will really fuck you up doesn't apply to those rules, like hot and cold. Like, it will grow outside those ranges. Just saying.
Brandel doesn't even look
Yeah,
sick.
okay,
He eats gas station.
gas
food.
station. Yeah, 100%.
Did you see
Preservatives.
Clint eating that donut?
No, I mean, you went for another one. Like, instantly grabbed another, like you were double fisting it. Like, holy shit, man.
Like a chick with 2 dicks.
Yeah. Pro.
Well, what about leprosy? Could we eat?
Oh, I don't know.
What are those things
Yeah.
called?
Lepers?
Armadillos?
Armadillos. Can we eat armadillos?
Armadillos have leprosy?
That's the only animal
They
that
can
can
give
carry
a
leprosy
human
and pass it to a human.
Leprosy.
What the fuck?
How hot do I have to cook that during the zombie apocalypse to not worry about leprosy?
Brenda's looking it up right now.
There's an armadillo right over there.
Yeah, I fucking see 10 of them on the side of the road every day.
They are
They're
all
born.
over the place.
They're born dead. You have
But
to
you
revive
only
them
ever
for them
see
to be
them dead
alive.
here. I've seen
We were
one live.
in the Razor when Jeff first came here, and I'm showing him around, right? And we're tearing around in the back in the hills and shit. And there's this tree, and I'd hit the tree many times. It's fallen down. I've hit this thing many times. We just kind of pop over it, and I just hit it too far off the fulcrum, and the tree spins around, and it busts in half. It's rotted. It's just this down
Yeah.
limb, huge. The Razor's. It's probably 24 inches tall. The tires on the Razor are a little bigger. They're 30s. So this thing spins around, busts in half, and these balls come out. I swear it's like these fucking little bowling balls come running out. And as they're rolling, they open up and start like they run kind of weird, like an inchworm.
Yeah.
And it's like a dozen armadillos come flying out of this tree.
Baby armadillos?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
They have long claws, man.
Yeah.
What's the answer?
You can't eat them.
What about
They move
how
a lot
hot do we have to
faster
cook them
with
to
that.
not
It
get
just
leprosy?
says to. Okay. They do carry the disease of leprosy. The bacteria is easily killed by cooking it well done, as long as you don't have any open cuts on your hands.
That means you could eat lepers
You can get leprosy. There's only
during the
there's
zombie apocalypse.
a few dozen cases of the disease that occur every single year of leprosy passed from armadillos to humans.
So there's different kinds in the leper colonies, right? There's different kinds of leprosy. One of them is contagious, and the other kind is, there might be more than that, but I know for a fact there is a contagious and a non-contagious leprosy. Because I used to take people with leprosy and they just put them in fucking leper colonies out on islands and shit. And when you start researching asylums and stuff, state hospitals come up, and that's one of the things that comes up is all the leper colonies and shit.
What's even weirder is there's a few dozen people a year touching armadillos.
Well, I was going to say, they're probably jackholes trying to keep them as pets and shit.
Well, you
like
can
that.
keep them as pets. I've had many armadillos.
You can keep anything as a pet if you
I have actually never had an armadillo. I never saw a live one until the first live one I saw I got out and tried to fuck with. I don't know if they bite. They
Yeah,
have
they
like
got
this little
leprosy.
I saw
long...
one and it took off running. Like, it will really surprise you how fast they are.
You have to be
Yeah.
careful. They'll roll in a ball and bowl you over.
Yep.
Have
Grab
you
all
not
those
seen
coins.
that? Yeah.
Grab all those coins.
Yeah, they'll fucking spin right in a ball and roll right for your feet. You better have on a helmet because you're going to hit the ground.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, it was a hedgehog, wasn't it?
You were talking about how everyone can't be a boss. You'll like this.
I read it already. I used to work for this guy. He's right. It's about me.
This guy?
Yep. Yeah, it's all about me.
Shut the fuck
I swear to
up.
God, go read the story, man. He says, and sorry, Josh, you just didn't work out.
We hired a guy at a restaurant to cook. He told everyone how awesome he was at cooking. He was going to be a chef soon. We thought, great, finally somebody would drive. Well, when he meant soon, he meant weeks. He was a good broiler guy, but he kept talking to other people about how he couldn't understand how we hadn't given him a chef coat yet.
See? Oh my God! Look at the fucking book he wrote.
I'm going to read it too.
Holy shit.
You know how I like lots of words. We had a meeting with him about an incident he was involved in, and he turned the meeting into asking why he hadn't been given his chef coat yet. He went on to say how he worked at several places that made him a kitchen manager in weeks of starting. I finally interrupted his tirade and asked, how did you being a kitchen manager work out for you or the other restaurant? He replied, well, I don't work there anymore. I explained to him that every chef in the company, over a dozen at the time, all started as line cooks. Then went to kitchen supervisor and then to chef over the course of of at least 4 years. He sat there for a few seconds and then started begging, come on, just give me a chef's coat, come on. He then stopped showing up a few weeks later. The final incident was where he didn't show up at 9 a.m. shift and then called me at noon to say he was on the way, but it would take 45 minutes on the bus. I told him his shift was covered already and to stay home. He could not understand why I covered his shift already. I explained to him that I would be fired if I just closed down the broiler station and did not serve burgers for lunch, waiting for him to show up as I was helping out someone else who was getting busy.
Told you.
How come we don't ever have burgers?
You hate burgers.
I like a good burger.
Yes.
Those bison ones you used to make were really good.
I can do that again. I don't know. You guys seem to get sick of shit, so I just like drop it off the menu and wait for you.
If you ever tell them like this is the best shit you've ever made,
you
you'll
won't see it
never
for a
see it
month.
again.
Never see it for a month. At
Quarter
least.
chicken.
He's like, okay,
chicken
motherfucker,
tomorrow.
chicken for you every day for the next 30 days.
I told you that was about me, man.
Shit.
I was just drunk. I was hungover. That's all.
What's the difference between? So, is there a big jump? Is there anything between line cook and chef?
No, you can make it's sous chef and shit like that.
So sous chef is above line cook.
Oh, for sure.
I thought a sous chef just chops all the shit up for the chef.
No, sous chef is the man. And honestly, any nice high-end restaurant, sous chefs are doing all the work. The EC there, they're just pushing papers around.
Executive chef. He's
Executive
doing
chef.
the ordering and.
No, sous chefs do all that shit. They're on the line. They're making sure everything goes out every day the right way. They're doing all the ordering. Sous chefs are doing all the scheduling.
Who goes out in liaisons with the farmer? Hey, I want your really expensive mushrooms.
Honestly, unless you have a working relationship, your best bet, like if you're a guy growing mushrooms right now, is to go into that fucking restaurant with your product and be like, hey, do you want me to buy this shit?
Here's a
Yeah.
baggie full. Try them out, bro. I got these right
That's
off
the best way.
I got these right out of the cow pasture.
Good
You're
shit.
gonna trip.
When I open a sushi bar,
Don't
we're only
mix these up.
having parrotfish and lionfish. So you better get a bunch of aquariums. We're having emperor. What are those angel? What are those big fucking fish?
Puffer?
No, they're in all the saltwater tanks. Anyways,
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I think it's an angelfish.
Angelfish.
I hate working at customer service, although I love helping customers.
Wise.
Who do you think said that?
Is that Reed?
That's your pen pal. You know that's the modern day pen pal. When Reed, is he private messaging you or texting you?
A message.
So when he PMs you, you know that's the modern day pen pal. That Reed in Reed's head, Reed sees it as he's doing some calligraphy and putting it in a little tube and tying it to his passenger pigeon.
Hey.
That's what Reed sees it as. He's a Renaissance man. Yeah, did you see Snowden on Joe Rogan? I did see a lot of that. Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
My comment's the best.
That was a great podcast. Who's Joe Rogan? You'll like this one. In the Cliver study, plastic cutting boards are easier to sanitize and don't soak up the juices in the capillaries like wood that harbor bacteria. What if you just use cedar? It's very
First of all, this guy's
antibacterial.
a freaking government plant. He's brainwashed. No, I'm kidding. No, he's got a point, but that wasn't what I was speaking of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, we were joking too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly.
There is a reason health departments hate wood in kitchens. People getting sick. Spraying a board off with a hose is not code either, laugh out loud. You need hot soapy water and rinse, then sanitize in the sink. Well, we have a machine that sprays like 4 chemicals on it and fucking. We have what do we have? A sanitizer?
Yeah.
It's a special dishwasher. Very special, thank you. Joshua Winnie, I see what you did there. Ed, the health inspector.
Ed the health inspector.
Man, if I only had any experience working in the heaviest legislated health district in the world, maybe one day.
That's Las Vegas, heaviest legislated health district in the world. There's more laws or rules and regulations about food than anything.
And I said, yeah, we know. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Douchebag.
I don't know if he was talking shit. I don't know if he was a shit talker or not. He might.
He's a shit talker.
If he's a shit talker, he's a shit talker that's in the food industry, or he spent some time looking it up. But that's totally something Reed would do too.
Yeah, that's Reed's other account.
Wait, anytime Reed asks you a question and I don't know the answer, I'm like, Reed, why don't you just tell me? I don't know the answer.
Yeah,
I know you do though, so why don't you just tell us what the answer is? Because that motherfucker knows it. Like, he just knows. Ed the health inspector, man, if only I had... Wait, rinsing something off with a garden hose won't clean and sanitize it? Great video. Yeah, my Medford knives are like that. All I did is buy a number 14 spanner bit and put a polished cloth in between it to avoid scratching the pivots, FYI. Right on. I keep thinking, are our t-shirts here yet? Today's Wednesday. We should have a new shirt delivered today. While we're talking about this, buried in the middle of the podcast. See, we'll bury it in there so they have to. Double wide crossbody bag. This is the first production sample. This is the one I sewed this morning for final sample. Dora has sewed hers. So tomorrow these will go on the website and we will do the start taking orders for these things, and they will probably ship Monday, Tuesday. They'll start going out.
A lot of interest, man. A lot of people saying that's fucking badass. They want it.
But I could be like, hey, we're building a fucking dog dildo pouch. If I mention that dog dildo pouch, people are like, when's the dog dildo pouch coming out? They all want it when they can't have it. If I had 400 of these, they wouldn't buy them.
Wouldn't move.
So that's why lately on the new stuff, we just kind of been putting it up with all the color options. We let you buy what you want, and then we build them and ship them over the next week or two. That's been going well, and it gives us a good. It's kind of surprising. I don't know why I'm surprised by it at this point, but when we put the colors wide open and let you guys order, Multicam Black Red is the #1 seller. Multicam Black is #2. Typhon Red is #3. Multicam is usually #4, and then it just goes down the line. So that's how we've been running them. And then when we run the orders for you guys, if there's like 24 or 50 or 60 Multicam Black Red, for instance, we'll run a dozen extra. So we'll have a dozen extra for inventory, or 2 dozen depending on the numbers. But like with the toxic green stuff, there'll be one dude that orders it. So we'll only order 3 of those. So over the next year, maybe we'll sell those 3. But they're there. I mean, come Christmas, that's always good. Guys buy all that extra shit up. So my mom raised me and my sister. Coming up, I was a hard-headed, good-for-nothing little shit. My dad was gone, and my mom struggled to make ends meet. I always said I'd never walk out on my kids and will always be there for them. My son's 15, daughter is 11. Sometimes I feel like I'm a little too rough on them, but both make good grades and no trouble ever. I just get a little ill and cuss if they don't do something I asked, or do something a different way I wanted it done than what I wanted it done. Am I just a fucking asshole dad? Or what? Laugh out loud. I'm just curious to hear your thoughts about it. Y'all keep the content coming. We the people enjoy it, man, and thanks. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I got super lucky with Cody because he fucking wasn't ever in trouble. And then some of my others were just fucking insane. I mean, I'll bet when you came... I'll bet when you came here, you're probably like, man, John is really an asshole to Sebastian.
No, not at all. No, I mean, I've been
I'll bet
around...
Gabby thought that.
No.
She kind of, I feel like Sebastian had Gabby tricked for a while.
Hell no.
You don't think so?
Fuck no, man. You can't hide that level of assholeness. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, he tried buttering me up every once in a while. It's like, and it just came off so gross and ingenuous, you know what I mean? Like,
it's a trip because he'd go in and I would hear him say something to you, and then you would turn around and come tell me the same thing in a completely different manner. I don't know, man.
That was a good baby head MO too. Like, he would like feel these stories out, feel them out, and then like refine it.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, probably so. That's probably what was happening. I don't know, man. I don't know. When are you going to have kids so that you have some input on this?
Never.
Never?
He's got like a 12-pack over there. Hides them in the closet. That's the best way to do it, bro. I'm telling you.
SOE tactical poncho with Velcro. Cool. Okay. Here's your knowledge bomb.
Yeah.
Catalytic
This
converters.
guy's full of shit too.
You know who this is?
Fuck. I used to work for this guy.
This is what the fuck's her name? Not free. I want to call her Freedom Chick, Liberty Chick. This is Liberty Chick's dude. Catalytic converters aren't worth as much as you would think due to the amount of platinum contained in them and how expensive it is to extract from them. To recycle them from a normally they go from $5 to a Honda Civic, which you get about $120. Some are more, but they are rarer. And for the record, Metabo makes the best industrial tools. I'm just fucking around. Don't start that debate. Last time it went on for months, and it was never decided on the listeners which brand was the best. I just bought some blue shit. I don't even know who makes that.
I just use what works. Metabo is good. I've also used DeWalt, anything like that. Never had any problems out of a grinder.
I was staying DeWalt because we had DeWalt, and we already had a bunch of batteries. But at this point, DeWalt has like fucking 4 different battery options.
Yeah.
So buy what fucking works for you. The DeWalt compact stuff is super light. Mm-hmm. It will literally fucking snap your wrist if you're not careful.
Yeah, very torquey.
But it's light. It's compact. You can get in there with it. The batteries, they've done a good job so that their older battery packs work in their newer options.
They finally have decent lights on a drill.
The lights are fucking crazy. I saw something on Instagram about that today. I just bought a blower. Jeff has a DeWalt chainsaw.
That thing's awesome.
And we cut some fucking giant trees. Like they felled these trees and pushed them over with tractors and shit, and we were just limbing them to cut them for firewood and bring it back. We were running them through chippers to make mulch here with. And I'll bet we brought 50 trailer loads full of big wood. Like it took 2 dudes to move this shit.
We ran that stuff for what, over a week?
For a whole week. All they did was run chainsaws. We had 3 fucking gas saws out there, big,
saws.
20-inch blade. We had a couple 455 ranchers out there, the Husqvarna, but we had some commercial Husqvarnas also. We've got some bigger Husqvarna saws. And Jeff's like, man, this thing will outperform. I'm like, you have lost your fucking mind. There is no way that DeWalt electric chainsaw is outperforming fucking anything. And it did. It did. It didn't quite cut as fast, but the downtime and changing stuff, it has a built-in chainsaw blade sharpener on there, and he had a couple other blades. But man, this thing, I was sold on it after watching him for an hour run this thing. Holy shit. And now that was a 40 volt. Now they got a 60 and I think an 80 volt out. And then I just bought, it's weird though, you can buy those DeWalt electric chainsaws off of Amazon and online, but when you go to Lowe's and Home Depot, I have never seen a DeWalt chainsaw at any, and they have all the DeWalt shit, but I've never seen the DeWalt lawn tools. They're just not there for some reason. But I think it's Cobalt, the blue one. I think what we got down there's Cobalt. I bought an 80 volt blower just to blow off the front porch and the back porch with and shit. And it's got that turbo mode on there. Holy shit, that thing fucking works good. It's got recoil to it. It fucking, like, you got to hold it. And now I've got a backpack sprayer that uses a weird battery. I've got this fucking blower that uses a weird battery. I've got fuck a dozen different chargers at this point, so I guess I'm not so brand loyal anymore. I just bought what looked to be the best that I could actually get that day.
Yeah, what was available.
And what Freedom meant is I've stolen many catalytic converters.
Yeah.
That's what that meant.
Yeah, no, that was just a video I watched, man. And I don't think you're full of shit either.
Chef needs to write an SOE cookbook. Because you couldn't cook before SOE.
Yeah,
there was no...
John showed me everything I know.
I love when you say that. Bio on his life and struggles and recipes and insight of how to manage.
It would be like one of those, like...
A really big book.
No, it would just be like one page and you'd fold it into 4. And then just open up like directions. Yeah, like
What would be on there? Grilled cheese sandwich,
Grilled cheese
salad,
sandwiches.
tomato soup.
I mean, I'm just thinking of the bio and struggles. It's like, yeah, that's the first paragraph. Now what else are we gonna put in this?
You've been a lot of places, man. Like I'm always surprised. Like when we sit down and talk, like there's always more.
Yeah.
I mean, even though the best days of your life were
Right now.
right here.
This day right here.
John and Scully, what are your thoughts on the raid to kill the head of ISIS? I didn't know him. We didn't have a plate set for him at the table for lunch. Is it true? Who fucking knows? If they're showing it to you, it's probably not true. We killed Bin Laden but dumped his body. Come on. Fuck, who knows what the truth is? If it's real and they got him, fucking awesome. Reports are saying they used Delta to kill that fucker. I thought when the government wanted people dead, they called in the SEAL teams. Please settle the argument. Who is the most elite, SEALs or Delta? Well, everybody knows. Like, Special Forces. But Delta's really not part of Special Forces, right? If you want to build churches, roads, wins hearts and minds, do origami, if you want to have like a crafts class, that's Special Forces.
Yep.
Everybody knows if you want some people dead, it's the SEAL teams. So I don't know.
A lot of people in one general direction.
I would I'd hit Pat Mack up and ask him who kills people. I would send Pat Mack. That's who I'd send.
Dude's an
You could get a workout in while he's there.
He probably would. He'd probably work out on the way there. He'd be like, he'd have a thigh master, but he'd be doing this on the way. Fucking Pat Mack.
Hey, look, they got some free weights over here.
I could lift a corner of your house. I love that dude, man. For you guys that have never met Pat Mack, if you don't know who Pat Mack is, first look up Pat McNamara. He's been on Joe Rogan. His Instagram page is good. Shooting instructor, gun trainer, how to kill people, how to be harder to kill. He's doing this series called Just Dude Stuff. Dude Stuff. And he'll open the hood of a car and be like, alternator, just dude stuff. Battery. I saw one he did the other day. It was a saw. He's like, reciprocating saw, circular saw, rip saw. And he like cut a 2x4 in half fucking by hand right there.
And that shit's him, man. Like that's no act. Like that.
That's
shit
where
is
I'm going.
fucking
That's
him.
where I'm going. Like if you watch him, you're like, man, he must have just drank some Red Bull or something. That dude is like that all the time. Like that. I met him. He was here for a couple hours hanging out after a class. Like he'd done a class all day. He was on third day of class. That's him. That is fucking 100%. He is always like that. So if you get a chance to train with Pat Mack, and then when I asked Costa the other day, I'm like, who do you want to train with? He's like, man, I want to train with Pat Mack. That's the class I would take if I could take one class. So that's pretty cool. All right, that's all we got here. You want to add anything? What time is it?
4 o'clock snack time.
Grilled cheese sandwich time.
I mean, I gotta get down there and work.
Can you make the real small ones?
You want me to punch him out?
Will you cut the crust off of them?
Yeah, I thought you were gonna have teriyaki chicken. That's what you put me on task for.
Can I not have a grilled cheese sandwich also?
Yeah, I mean, no problem, John.
Never mind, I'll just make it
No.
myself in the microwave.
It'll be atrocious if you make it in the microwave. You want the little ones?
All right, I'll start with gummy bears, and if I still want a grilled cheese
Brandon's
sandwich,
got a fucking shitload of gummy bears.
I'll bet he does.
He brought one of those bags and it's full of gummy bears.
He bought gummy bears when we went to get birthday cake the other day.
Yeah, he was putting them on the cake before he was eating it.
That's true. He took all those keto
Yeah.
cupcakes and put gummy bears in them. He's like, I gotta fatten this up. Whoa, there's
That
a
was
thing here.
close.